All right, we all know that feeling. You get a brand new Glock and the very first thing you want to do is change stuff. So today I'm going to go over my top couple things that I've done to my Glocks that for not too much money, they do a lot of improvement to make it a lot better gun. So the very first thing that everybody complains about with Glocks is the trigger. And the stock trigger on the Gen 5s is okay. It's not a great trigger, but it is definitely a decent duty trigger. So the only thing that I do to mine is a disconnector. These are right here. This is what I have in mind. It's a Ghost Edge disconnector, I believe. They're like $35. It basically what it does, you have to pull the trigger unit out and drop it in there. But it's pretty simple to put in. This one you have to fit. There's some you don't. But this one you do have to fit. So it's just a little bit of filing to get the reset right. But basically what it does is it smoothens up the take up on the trigger. And then it stops the over travel so that all you have to do to reset it, it takes your over travel out and makes it really easy to reset. So that's my reset. It's not very long, and it makes it light enough that it's a very, very nice Glock trigger. It's not a Walther trigger by any means, but it is a nice duty Glock trigger. You're not changing any of the safety features. You're not changing anything, any springs. All you do is that drop-in disconnector, and it smoothens it up a little bit. It makes it good enough in my opinion. So we'll go back inside here. It's like I said, it's very easy to drop in. They sell ones that don't need to be fitted. I have one in one of my other guns I'll show you. It's still a really good trigger. It just doesn't have quite as little over travel, but it's still a really good break. Nice take up with a crisp break and not too much over travel. But what it does is it has a little bar there that just stops the trigger bar from traveling further rearward. So it does the same thing as some people put a screw in their trigger. I don't like doing that, but it does the same thing. So the second thing everybody complains about Glocks is the grip. The factory grip on Glocks sucks. You have to be a really good shooter to stop them from sliding around your hand, and you should usually use chalk, especially for competition shooting, because let's be honest, they're not good. They feel like you're holding a piece of Tupperware, and the flat sides don't help. So my biggest thing that I do when I get a new one is grip tape. This is a handle-it grip. This one's really aggressive. I do like it because it's aggressive. It just took a little bit of time to get it to where I can reload it. That's something you do need to remember, is if you just throw grip tape on it, you're gonna be catching your fingers on the thing if you're used to moving your hand, like shifting your grip to reload. You gotta remember that because you gotta dry fire with your new grip. Often what I'll do is cut some of this down here, as you can see, cut down here away so I can adjust my grip when I draw to get a good grip without having the tape immediately lock into my fingers. So I'll do that, and then I'll just take a knife and remove a bunch of material here because that doesn't really matter to me, having grippiness here. So just so I can shift my hand to hit my mag release easy without it catching on the tape. But the place where it's most important is here and here. So that has worked fine. Most tape I've found will slip if it's not put on right. This one's done a little bit, but it's still lasted a while past that. But it's still, I can still get a really good grip in there and get good purchase on the gun and help me hold my trigger still as I mash the trigger. Help me hold my dot still as I mash the trigger. So I do like the handle-it grip. I was impressed with that. It comes with a piece to go here on the back strap. I did not put that on mine because like I said, I like to have that loose so I can shift my thumb to hit the mag release, just like that. So if I have something sticky on the back here, it's gonna catch on my hand. So we'll look at my other gun. This one has a Talon grip on it. These are pretty good. I've used these a lot. On these, I cut out this section here for the same reason. This one is actually my oldest piece of grip tape. This one's, I've had it for a while. Granted, I don't shoot this gun on too much, but I do have it on here, and it's not terribly tacky anymore. It gets filled up with chalk and skin flakes, but it still does work. And even carrying this one, since it's worn down, it's not too bad. It doesn't chafe too bad, even without an undershirt. But I do like these. the handle it grip one was a lot more aggressive. So I wouldn't recommend carrying with that one because you're gonna have problems. So that's two options you can do for grip tape. The handle it grips are like $13. They're very reasonable. I think the talons are a little bit more, maybe 20. So like 15 to 20 bucks, something around in there. Another thing you can do is just get skate tape and make your own. I wouldn't recommend that necessarily for your first one. Probably just get a talon grip or a handle grip off Amazon just to try it, see if you like it. People also do silicon carbide. That's of course a more permanent modification to the gun. If you don't like it, then you're just kind of stuck. I didn't do it because I want to shoot IPSC this year, and you can't have silicon carbide grips on your gun. It has to be a temporary grip modification to be legal for IPSC, I believe. So that's two things that fix the two big problems people have with Glocks: slippery and trigger. So one other thing that I do just for quality of life is I do these brass C&H precision grip plugs on them. It just helps with getting a mag in there. I think I like it better than a mag well on the Glocks. It just like it. There's plenty of error there to get a mag in. Along with the weight helps balance the gun out a little bit. So if you don't want to spend the 50, 60 bucks, depending on shopping around on a brass plug, you can do like I did on this one. This one is a 3D printed plug, and I just filled the back up with tungsten. It makes it, it's not quite as heavy as the brass plug, but it's close. Just got some tungsten putty and shoved it up in the back there. Make sure you don't get it all the way up inside the gun because that's not ideal, but it did work for trying to see if I liked the weight in the rear. You can also get the C&H precision speed ramps in brass, but they're flat. They're not the contoured design like these are, but they still do work. They keep the mag kind of from getting caught up in that back of the gun like the Glock can do. Even though the Gen 5 is flared a little bit and does definitely take a magazine very easily. They're very easy to load. So you can kind of, with most of this stuff, you can kind of DIY yourself whatever you want to do with it. If you just want to try it, if you like it, then you can do a little bit better option, but that's just personal preference. Kind of what I ended up here with this one is what I would recommend: doing a Ghost disconnector, handle it grip tape, and the C&H Precision speed feed. That's about 50 to 60, 30, and 15. So like right at about at 100 bucks for modifications to a gun. And even if you just did one of them, the disconnector that I have, like I said, in this gun, that's the $13 or $15 one, $10 one. It just makes that take up. This was my worst Gen 5 trigger that I've ever shot, but it took it down to like a nice light take up, a little bit pressed through the wall, nice smooth break with a little bit of over travel. It's not too bad. There is a decent amount of over travel compared to the other one, but it's a nice clean break and definitely shootable. A lot better in my opinion than the stock trigger. So on the trigger, what I would recommend not touching, which I have done before, is any of the springs in the gun. I had a striker spring in here, and if you go back a ways, back last fall in Georgia, at Georgia State, I had a, I think it was a light strike. I'm not sure if it was ammo or striker spring, but I had a modified striker spring in it, and it did it multiple other times with different ammo. So I went back to all stock and went to just the disconnector in this one, and it's just as good or better of a trigger. So I would recommend a disconnector, probably a Ghost one. Don't touch the springs because I've done that and it's not good. It's not really worth it for what you gain. The only other spring that I would maybe look at changing would be the recoil spring, but I haven't had a reason to change those out yet, so I haven't, but that is an option you can look at. Favorite Glock modifications are, or if you don't like Glocks at all, argue with me why they're better or not better. I definitely like them. They're an honest gun. Even stock, most of them are fine. There's something fun about shooting a completely stock Glock with irons, and these seem a little bit fancier than that. But thank you guys for watching. Do the like button thingy. If you hate the way that my face looks, give it a dislike. If you like the video and it was informative, give it a like. That's what those buttons are for. See you guys.